Good afternoon, my name is Ricardo and today I'm going to be talking about postnatal depression in men. Before I continue, I'd like you to know that I'm not a medical professional, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a psychologist. The advice I'm providing you with is from my own personal experiences with postnatal depression. What is postnatal depression? Postnatal depression is a depression that a mother experiences after childbirth. The symptoms of such depression include irritability, insomnia, and difficulty bonding with the baby. The main cause of the postnatal depression in mothers is due to hormonal imbalances during the pregnancy or during childbirth. The question that needs to be asked now is, how does postnatal depression affect men? This is a strange question because, as mentioned, this is usually a depression experienced after a childbirth. Men do not give birth to children, so how can they suffer from postnatal depression? Well, let me tell you a little bit about my story, and perhaps it will provide a better understanding on this matter. When my wife gave birth to my son, some of the feelings I experienced were quite alarming. I found it difficult to bond with my son, I felt irritable, and I also felt that I was not prepared. These feelings did not pass, and for a long time I struggled to bond with my son and to actually enjoy him. It's quite hard to talk about this because I regret not seeking help on this matter a lot sooner. So one of the things that I noted was that although I was able to look after my son from a physical needs perspective, I however struggled to provide how can I say, I struggled to have an emotional bond with him, and this wasn't so great. I really I can't describe how I felt. I mean, you've just your wife has just given birth to this wonderful little boy, and for me I just felt nothing, and that was quite a shock. And you know, I think one of the reasons why I felt this was because, you know, for the 9 months that my wife was pregnant, she obviously had a lot of time to come to terms with the fact that there was a child coming into this world. As a man, we don't experience this. So for 9 months, all we see is that our wife is pregnant and we see the changes in her. However, we don't experience that because, you know, we obviously we don't have the physical aspect of the pregnancy. So when my son was born, it was this huge shock to my system. I mean, it was almost like one day I was carefree and the next day, bam, I had this massive responsibility. And I think that sort of triggered the depression in me. And this, I think, is why one can call it postnatal depression, is because it's a depression experienced after the childbirth. It's not so much because of hormonal imbalances. It is more a sense of perhaps stress, perhaps anxiety, or a combination of these things that all of a sudden hits you, and you're kind of left in this state of perhaps denial, perhaps resentment, that all of a sudden your life is no longer yours. You now have to you now have the responsibility to look after a human, a baby human. So yeah, this was my experience, and you know, I did seek medical help, and both my psychologist and my psychiatrist sort of came to the conclusion that I was experiencing postnatal depression because my symptoms were in line with what a mother would typically experience. And this was quite alarming because, you know, as I mentioned earlier, how can a man experience postnatal depression? But I'm here to tell you that it's real. And, you know, as a dad and as a father, I'd like to let other dads know that this is a reality, and it's nothing to be ashamed about. It's nothing to keep. It's nothing to ignore. I mean, I think I just like other fathers out there to know that you're not alone. This is something that is real. I have experienced it. I have overcome it. With my second child, I mean, I did experience it. However, the period that I experienced it was a lot shorter because, as I mentioned, I did seek medical help. So I think don't be embarrassed, don't be shy, don't ignore it. I think that's my advice. And don't think that, oh no, you're a man, you can suck it up and move on, because no, it's nowadays you don't have to be a hero. You don't have to be this constant rock that everyone can depend on, and you know, you're the dad, you have to, you know, be this mighty strong man. I don't think that's the case, and I don't think you should feel that you have to live up to something like that. I think if your wife has given birth and you are feeling all these emotions that you just can't explain, seek medical help. Go see a psychologist, talk to a friend, even talk to your wife. I think explain to her what you're experiencing. For me, my wife couldn't understand why I was behaving the way I was, and I never opened up to her, I never spoke to her because I didn't understand what I was feeling. As I mentioned with my second child, I was a little bit more open, and I was able to explain to my wife, you know, I'm feeling, you know, indifferent, I'm feeling, you know, a bit irritable towards the baby, and by explaining to her, she was able to understand me and help me work through those feelings. So yeah, my advice is, you know, talk to your wife, talk to your mother, talk to your father, talk to your friends. Don't be afraid, don't hide it, don't let it get the better of you. It's real, and it can be beaten. Psychiatrists, psychologists, all those people, counselors, they are understanding, and they will help you through it. So, you know, the reasons for making this video was just to mainly tell you, to tell dads and fathers out there that the postnatal depression is real and you're not alone. So thank you for your time, thank you for listening to me. I hope that in some way I've been able to help someone, some dad. I suppose let me also just say this to moms. I mean, postnatal depression is well documented in mothers. So again, if you're a mom and you're experiencing, you know, similar feelings like irritability, you finding it difficult to bond with your baby, you might also be suffering from postnatal depression. So please, again, seek medical help, psychiatrists, doctors, psychologists, anybody, and don't feel alone. Talk to your husband. You know, you can overcome this, and I just pray that you get the help that you need and in time. So thank you, and yeah, have a good day. Cheers.